Welcome to another edition of our Let's Talk show. I'm your host, Andrew James, and today I'm pleased to have with us in the studio via Zoom, Miss Armina Seetram.
Oh, thanks, Andrew, for having me.
Welcome aboard. I haven't seen you more than, I'll say, 20 years. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself as it relates to your time at Mackenzie High School?
Oh, well, Andrew, Mackenzie High School meant a lot to me. I attended from 1989 to 1994, graduated, and I majored in arts. I found when I started high school, it was so scary. It was very challenging, so anxious. I was quite nervous at the beginning, but I think that it also became fun. It was so much drama. The drama. It almost like it sets you up for life.
Yeah.
It was also where you learned about so many personalities and also like how resilient you can become as a person. It's where I learned about patience and observing. And I think really high school forms what we're to become in our future. It's really the testing ground for real life, you know? And for myself personally, high school meant way more than I ever shared with anybody back then. Somewhere midway, my dad had told me that I would be getting married soon after high school. So for me, it represented much more. And I held that very personal to myself, but I also valued like everything that came with it. I found the teachers to be some of the most patient. And, you know, looking back, you probably think back then, thinking of Mr. Daniels standing at the top of Lych's stairs with the cane in his hand. You know, I don't know for you, but for me, those stairs were like never ending. Do you remember how steep they were? Like they were, like, he would stand on there and you'd be like, oh my God. You know, and then you remember how it was divided, like Lych's on one side, I think it still is, and then
Yes.
on the other. You felt like it was such a difference in where you wanted to be or where you were. But I do have very fond memories of the teachers there, like baking with Mrs. Britton and Malcolm with his science lab and Mr. Daniels with like farming. Nobody liked farming. At least no girl did. Well, I take that back. I didn't. Mr. Goodluck making us run.
Yeah,
I still can't run. I still can't run, but I try. You know, just like everybody was so, especially the teachers, I think they were life changer. The teachers really let us be. I found let us find like who we were as individuals. They didn't try to like make us all one, like to make us all be like one another. Because we're so different, they allowed us to become. And I found they really had intuition that they could see which was the best part of each of us, especially when it came to like the skits, the shows that we would put on in the assembly. Like they really knew who to put to do those parts. Like it was amazing because even I remember being a little bit shy, but yet I was picked to model one time. A sari that almost fell off on stage. Oh, thank God it didn't. But it was just a little bit like scary and exciting.
Very good. Thank you for sharing with us. I'm so impressed with your background. It being, late November. It's not even December. You want to give a shout out to anyone in Linden or perhaps in Guyana or anywhere around the world? I know it's Christmas time. You'll be the first. I'll allow you an opportunity to give the first Christmas shout out for the North American chapter. Go for it. You're on.
Well, Merry Christmas to everybody in Guyana that's watching looking at this, and in particularly Linden. Linden is home for me. It's where I lived since I was 7 years old. I do still have all my family living there, my parents, my brothers, my niece, my nephew, my extended family. I consider everybody in Linden my extended family, by the way. Everyone there played a part in shaping who I became and who I've become. I feel like that bauxite dust is like your DNA. You can't get rid of it. It's like ingrained in you. So it's like really, I take such pride in coming from Linden. No offense to anybody that's from any other part of Guyana, but if you're a Lindener, you know what I mean. It's
Right.
home. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Many years ago, this is actually bringing back memories for me. Many, many years ago, my father purchased the gas station on Republic Avenue. We still own it today. My brother still does. And I think around the time I was like 18 years old, he had me do a little Christmas wish for Linden.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is actually making me remember that. I think Mr. Copeland.
Yes, I remember. Yes, Gary Copeland. Yes.
Wished everybody a Merry Christmas, and all these years later, I get to do it again. So it's really a pleasure to be able to wish everybody like the best for the holidays. I know times are different and it's definitely challenging, but look at each other if you're in that home together and appreciate what you see. So best wishes, everybody.
Very nicely said. Thank you so much. Can you tell us a little bit about your Mackenzie High School years in detail? How was Mackenzie High School prepare you for the real life of work and what it is exactly that you're doing in your current job? I know I did a little bit of research on you, and I noticed you had owned a gas station somewhere in Toronto many years ago. Can you tell us about that transition, if you don't mind sharing with us, please?
I knew that I wasn't going to be going to university straight after high school, much like my peers. My dad was very honest and always told me what was going to happen. I have valued that more so now than I did back then. I knew that very straight after, like I said, I would be getting married. I actually got married at 19. And so high school for me, especially at the end, taught me that patience and resilience and exactly how strong I was. It really prepared me for like straight out of high school going to run my dad's business. Actually, I started running my father's business like almost straight after. And it taught me how to treat people, how to listen.
Very good.
And a lot of what I've learned there were also instilled in me by my parents, because your personality is really your key. And I learned a lot about the person I've become, the person I was. I truly believe I learned that from the people around me, which is, of course, all the unique personalities that you were mixing with in high school. You're either going to take it as a negative or you take it as a positive. I learned really fast the way you treat people comes back tenfold. So high school, I can never, ever thank you enough for what you gave me, because it really, really prepared me for what was to come shortly thereafter. I didn't have a moment to breathe, really, between high school and work, because I literally graduated and went to work for my dad like very, very soon after.
Very good. Excellent. Nicely said. Any fond memories of Mackenzie High School?
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. How I think one of the memories I have for the longest while is I actually speak so fondly about. I'm very close to the people that did it. I had very long hair in high school, and my mom still combed my hair in high school. She would do this long plait to the side, and then three plaits, and they were very long, and people would tie it to the chair. And when I would get up to do the assembly, it would rumble and make a noise.
Not nice.
Oh, but you know what? Maybe then I got lashes for it. So yes, it wasn't nice.
Did.
Well, you know, when you're in assembly, you can't make noise. I remember in high school that we were not, we were very poor and we didn't have a lot. And the person know who they are, and I love them. And they used to give me their hand-me-downs for uniforms. And I have to tell you, I know that people view hand-me-downs as like a bad thing, but to me, they were the best thing in high school, because her uniforms were shorter.
Yes.
And like above my knee, and her blouse were tighter. And in high school, you want to fit in, right? Like I was just so happy because everything that my mom would sew for me were like halfway to my toe.
Yeah.
So, but On a serious note, I do have very fond memories of Mrs. Huntley playing a big part in me completing high school. You know, I almost felt that there was a moment where I almost would not have completed it. And these
Mhm.
teachers stepped up and, spoke to my parents and encouraged them to let me continue. And I'm not really going to talk about like what grades I graduated with or anything like that, because from the bottom of my heart, I truly don't believe that no offense to anybody who graduated and worked hard for their grades, but it's just that, your distinction or your grade ones and grade two, yes, they play a big part in your success, but I truly believe that not all of us have the same education level. Not all of us have the same level of schooling in a way. But if you work hard and you focus and you use your personality, then you can truly succeed in life too. So I never really looked at like what I graduated with as the key to my success.
Mm.
Is that a horrible thing to say?
No, that's actually, I think you're keeping it real, and I appreciate that. My next question to you was going to be, what advice would you give to a young girl aspiring to be like you? And I think you answered that question well. I'll give you an opportunity to build a little bit more if you're open to doing so. Because the reality for a lot of young girls in Guyana is that they have role models, but I see someone like yourself, I mean, coming from Guyana, specifically Linden, and growing up poor, and talking about you being comfortable in your skin to reflect on the fact that you wore a hand-me-down. For people who don't know what it is, it's uniform that someone else wore, and they pass it on to you. And now you're no longer there, and you're comfortable in your skin. You live in a different country, and you've done, as far as I'm concerned, very well for yourself and for your family. What advice would you give to a young girl that's struggling with some kind of challenge of trying to fit in and not feeling as though they're a part of the current MHS community?
You know, um, I'll go backwards a little bit.
Hmm.
Now that I'm older, I can look back and there was, I think everyone in Linden has formed the strength of many of us. Many, like my parents, they were simple people, humble people. My mom, homemaker, but had a wonderful personality, one of the kindest people you would ever meet. She
Hmm.
attracted a group of women and equally she was attracted to those women. And they formed a sisterhood that I respected from so young. These women had each other's back. And we all know that there's challenges in life that, we all face. And my dad, he worked at Guy Mine, very hardworking, spoke highly of the people he worked with, you
Hmm.
know. So from those two people, I think it formed the core, but it wasn't just them. It was everybody else in Linden. I don't know what it's like today, but I can tell you back then, there was always a smile. There was always a good morning. There was always the people in the market. You could see them hustling. That's the thing about Linden. We hustle. We're
Hmm.
not people. We're resilient, right?
Right.
Everybody's always smiling. And, Daddy taught me from very young, you don't let somebody else do something that you would not do yourself. When I started running the business, I would be out there at 6 o'clock in the morning, washing that entire gas station,
Hmm.
washing it down and scrubbing it while, the employees would sit there sometimes. And I think it meant something to them because that's how you gain respect and
Yes.
that's how you give respect. And so to any young girl or young man actually who's looking at this, I'm going to say to you that don't strive to be me. Strive to be yourself. But you can use me as an example because each of us in life is going to go through lots of trials, tribulations, things are going to happen. Problems are a sign of life. Many of us, if you were to come back and ask anybody that's what you deem successful, and mind you, success is in many forms, but each of us will have a story. So right now, you're just creating your story. Your story is happening. Sometimes we can't, destiny is a strange thing. Sometimes in life, You just have to deal with what you're dealing with at the moment, but it doesn't mean that you can't change it in the future. So be strong, find things right now that's within around you. I would actually ask you to just go and write down 5 things right now in your life that you're thankful for. It's amazing what a state of mind can become when you think positive. So don't give up. You've got technology, you've got groups out there that can encourage you. You've got me. You can find me if you need somebody to talk to. I'm out there. I take great pride in helping and mentoring. I am a true believer that you're only as successful as the people you help or that you can help.
Very nicely said. You're only as successful as the people that you try to help. Nice takeaway. What do you think we can do as an organization to influence change in the life of a young person at Mackenzie High School?
There's lots we can do, and none of it we have to physically be there to do. And with today's technology, we can simply form a group where if someone had a question, they just post it on there. And with so many intellectuals of different walks of life, one of us will be able to give the guidance that's needed for these young people. Sometimes the children just need guidance. The young adults just need guidance. We needed guidance at some point, and we had amazing, amazing teachers, parents, uncles, aunties, anybody that can listen. Look, I've learned some things from listening to really old people. One of my favorite things to do is to read a book to someone like who's in an old people's home. One of the saddest parts of COVID is that I can't do it anymore, really, because there's such a thing as listening to somebody who's watched life, speak of life, and then you realize, oh my God, what am I complaining about? Yeah. I'm listening. Like, ease up on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. When you look in the mirror, just realize that, I know they say that song, One Day at a Time. I hear it on the radio all the time in Guyana. I think it's One Day at a Time, Sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Funny how things are ingrained in your head, right? But it's true though. Just take life one day, but have little goals and then bigger goals. Still stay focused. Know what you're looking for. Know what you want to achieve. A friend of mine, last year I won an award. I'm up for the award again this year for my work. And I feel that whenever I look in the mirror, I'm always proud of who I've become. I'm not that scared little girl anymore in high school who used to, like, who am I going to marry? What's going to happen to me? Like, what is my life going to be like? I felt that I was so confident. And for me, seeing other people around me be successful and happy makes me feel peaceful. So I think as a group, because we're all working so hard to do better back home, why not form something like this where people can easily come to us? You know, it's no different from somebody asking you on Facebook, where can I find a seamstress? Or where can I find, a plumber? And everybody's answering in 2 seconds. Look, I know it's easy, but if we can find time to answer that person and give out a phone number, why can't you find time to somebody post a math problem? And oh my gosh, we've got so many fantastic teachers and people that could probably give the answer in like 2 seconds.
So developing like a guidance or a support group for current students, whereby we have a bunch of subject matter expert people in specific areas to help and provide direct assistance and guidance, right?
Yes, I think that would be the key. Well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hopefully it comes, bringing brighter and better things. A shout out to my dad. Pretty sure you're riding your little motorbike somewhere, the little scooter thing he rides around. I've heard he's been riding all over the place. Merry Christmas, everybody. To my brother, who now currently owns my dad's gas station. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of everybody in Linden. And I know that together we've continued to show how strong we are as a community. I love seeing how we're progressing in life. It's no longer about just the bauxite and the mining community, but it's much more. But that's what Lindeners always was. We were always much more. It just was, time progresses and things come to light, right? So happy holidays, everybody. I hope my outfit and my background leaves you in a cheery mood. And Andrew, I know that we're about to close, so I do want to say, I don't know like exactly how many people or how this came to be, but I'm very happy and I feel very privileged that I was able to do this with you.
On behalf of the Mackenzie High School Alumni Association North American Chapter, Ms. Majid-Seetram, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. This was one of the most touching interviews I've personally done. I'm sure this production would have an impact on the life of some young person listening. And again, I want to commend you for taking time out from your busy schedule to join with us and share your experience as it relates to Mackenzie High School. Happy holidays to you and your family. Congratulations again. We appreciate all that you do for the association in terms of your assistance and your commitment to making Mackenzie High School a better place for all. Thank you very much. Stay safe and God bless you.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. God bless you. I do want to leave you with one quote.
Sure.
Well, it's not so much a quote. It's something I wrote a long time ago. And it says, you can't control the events of your life, but you can control what they mean to you. So,
very nicely said. With that,
holidays.
Leave it there. Thank you very much. Have a good holidays and we'll be in touch.
Thanks. Take care.
All right.